In a cozy little farmhouse nestled amongst rolling green hills lived the pig family. Papa Pig, with his ever-present tool belt, was always mending fences or tinkering with some farm contraption. Mama Pig bustled about inside, her days filled with the comforting clatter of pots and pans and the endless task of keeping their home spick and span. Percy, a young pig with a need for speed, spent his time racing across the fields, always striving to beat his last record. And then there was Penny, the youngest, a sweet and observant piglet who often found herself in the quiet spaces between their busy lives. Though they shared the same roof, a subtle distance had grown between them. Meal times were rushed, conversations were brief, and laughter, once a common sound, had become a rare melody. Penny missed the days when they would all do things together, when their home hummed with shared joy. She often wandered out to the backyard, her little heart heavy, and gazed at a large circular patch of dry, cracked earth. This was the great family wallow, a once glorious mud puddle where the pig family had spent countless happy hours, splashing and playing together. Now, it was just a forgotten space, as hard and unyielding as the silence that had settled over their family. One sunny afternoon, feeling particularly lonely, Penny decided to look for her lost red ball in the attic. Dust motes danced in the golden shafts of light filtering through the small window. Amongst forgotten toys and stacks of old blankets, she stumbled upon a thick leather-bound photo album. Curious, she carefully opened it. The pages within held a treasure trove of memories. There was Papa Pig. Younger and without the faint furrow in his brow, beaming as Mama Pig playfully splattered him with mud. There was Percy, a tiny piglet with chubby legs, giggling as he slid into the gooey depths. And there was Penny herself, a mere speck, held securely in Mama's arms, her face alight with pure joy as the muddy waters splashed around her. Page after page showed the family in their wallow, covered in mud, their faces radiant with unadulterated happiness. A wave of longing washed over Penny. Looking at those joyful images, she knew what she had to do. The wallow and the fun it represented had to come back. Determined, Penny marched out to the neglected patch of earth. A small twig clutched in her tiny trotters. The ground was rock solid. She poked at it with the twig, but it barely made a dent. Undeterred, she found a small bucket and began to carry water from the garden tap. One slow, sloshing trip at a time. The task was enormous, the progress minuscule. The sun beat down, and Penny's little legs began to ache. But the memory of those happy, muddy faces in the photo album kept her going. After a while, Percy, returning from his latest running practice, noticed his little sister struggling in the backyard. He was usually focused on his speed and his own goals, but something about Penny's determined efforts caught his eye. He wandered over, a little impatiently at first. "What are you doing, Penny?" he huffed, wiping sweat from his brow. Penny, without a word, opened the dusty photo album to a picture of them as piglets, both completely covered in mud, their eyes wide with delight. A flicker of recognition, a forgotten joy sparked in Percy's eyes. He remembered the feel of the cool, squishy mud between his toes, the joyous squeals echoing through the air. Without another word, Percy dropped down on his front knees and began to use his strong snout to loosen the hard-packed earth, working alongside his little sister. Soon after, Mama Pig, on her way to water her prize-winning tomatoes, saw Percy and Penny working together, their little brows furrowed in concentration. She carried over a pitcher of cool well water and some freshly baked apple slices. As she watched them, her gaze fell upon the cracked earth, and then drifted to the photo Penny held open. A soft smile touched her lips. She remembered the sheer, unadulterated fun of those muddy days, the feeling of letting go of chores and worries, and simply enjoying the moment with her family. An idea sparked in her mind. She knew there was a small, clean stream that she sometimes used to water her delicate herbs. With a few adjustments to the small earth dam she had built, she carefully diverted a trickle of water towards the wallow, a slow but steady stream that began to soften the stubborn ground. The sounds of unusual activity drifted towards Papa Pig as he worked on a wobbly fence post. Curiosity piqued, he ambled over to the backyard. He stopped short, a look of surprise spreading across his face. There was Penny, her snout smudged with dirt, Percy grunting as he pushed at the earth, and Mama Pig carefully guiding a stream of water. And in the center of it all was the beginnings of their beloved wallow. A warmth spread through Papa Pig's chest, a feeling he hadn't realized he'd been missing. He looked at his family working together, their faces lit with a shared purpose, and a big, genuine smile stretched from ear to ear. He knew what to do. He remembered the old water pump near the barn, the one that had fallen into disrepair years ago. With renewed energy, he strode over to it, his tool belt jingling. He tightened a few bolts, oiled a rusty joint, and with a final, mighty push on the long handle, the pump groaned, shuddered, and then with a triumphant whoosh, a great gush of clear, sparkling water poured out of the spout. Papa Pig directed the flow towards the growing puddle, and soon the dry, cracked earth was transformed into a glorious expanse of soft, squishy, wonderful mud. With a joyful oink, Papa Pig didn't hesitate. He leaped into the muddy water with a tremendous splash, sending droplets flying. The sound of his happy oink broke the last remnants of their separateness. A moment later, Mama Pig giggled and stepped in, followed quickly by Percy, who let out a whoop of delight. And finally, little Penny, her eyes shining with pure happiness, splashed into the mud with a contented sigh. The air was filled with laughter once more, the sound echoing through the peaceful farm. Mud flew as they chased each other, slipped and slid, and covered themselves from snout to tail in the glorious goo. The great family wallow was reborn, and with it, the joy and connection that had been quietly fading away. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the muddy, happy family, they all knew that the most important work was not mending fences, or tidying the house, or winning races, but simply spending time together, splashing in the mud, and remembering the simple, profound joy of being a family.